You can hear me well right now, just to be sure, just to double check.
Yeah, I can.
All right, awesome. So Toby was having like a lot of internet issues, but we're just stepping in. I think we should just kick things rolling. Others will join, and hopefully, once his internet is in
Hello,
order,
Jam.
he'll be
Can
able
you
to.
can you hear me?
Finally.
Ah.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Finally. Anyways, blame Nigerian internet. Anyways, good afternoon, everyone.
Go and buy 5G.
I should buy 5G. Who has 5G?
Elon Musk.
Who has 5G?
A lot of people have 5G now. Go and pre-order.
I should
Please.
pre-order.
Thank you very much.
No wahala. Good afternoon, everyone. Jam has already made the intro. So this is the Slice, and it's a podcast that's focused on elevating the wealth of Africans globally, and it's brought to you by Kevin. So normally we have episodes that we post online on our Spotify, all the major podcast platforms. So that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I think there's another one, I think Anchor or something like that. But the main one that people usually use is just Spotify and Apple. So it's on the major ones, major platforms. But this is the first time we're actually going to have it live. So you guys are listening on the podcast. And the reason why we are doing that is just to have an interactive session. Because it's one thing for you to go and listen. Then it's another thing for you to be there when people are actually speaking. So today we are going to be having Goodness with us. Goodness is our first official external guest on our podcast. So shout out to Goodness. Shout out to you, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're
Shout
welcome.
out.
You're welcome. You're very welcome to the Slice. So, quick profile of Goodness. Jam, I think you should take this one.
Yeah, I mean, so the where we met Goodness and how we even started, talking and having conversations. Goodness was one of the engineers, the blockchain engineers that we were introduced to back in 2020, and he has been very instrumental since that time in building what Keble is right now. And again, this is self-promotion. Let me just put that there. So Keble is the platform that allows individuals to own fractional shares of global properties, regardless of your location. So you could own shares in London, a London property. You could own a share of, a Ghanaian property, regardless of location. You can tap into the global real estate market. And he was one of the first back-end engineers that helped us, sort of build out the first two versions of what Keble is at the moment. And he has also been a user as well. So I think he graduated from just being like the back-end engineer to actually being like an active user on the Keble platform, investing and reinvesting. And one of the cool things about him is that he's extremely driven, and he's also a lead at one of the, the biggest crypto Web3 platforms in Africa. I'm sure that. Should I mention the name? I can mention it. You cannot beat me. I don't know. You guys know about Changera. They just raised like 2-something million yesterday. So he's like.
I think you put it in context so that people will not get confused. It's $2.1 million. So we're talking like 600. We're talking too much. We are talking nothing less than 600 million naira. That's how much they raised.
Yeah.
So that's always not thinking that is. So that's always not thinking.
He's the engineering lead. He's engineering at Changera. I'm sure. Yeah, he's engineering at Changera. So if you have any issues with Changera, you can just like send a DM. And he would help you out with that option, with that trouble. So I think that's like the brief. And what made us actually start having this discussion is that this year since last year to this year, he has been very intentional on actively investing in real estate and building his portfolio. So like we've had conversations of, okay, I want to have this at this point in my life. I want to have this investment, and we actually like analyze, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to plan towards this? And what kind of investment should you be making on a monthly basis to actually reach those goals? So it just seemed like a very, interesting, interesting topic to talk about, because this is someone that is in the crypto space, someone in the tech space, and someone that has a weird affinity or an interesting way of looking at investing and building his wealth generally. So goodness, I hope I did justice to you as a person. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome
It
to
was
this
too
podcast.
much, but
Well, one thing that Jam mentioned that is very important to point out is the fact that you have been in the crypto space, the Web3 space since 2020. 2020 was like the height of it. I mean, more people are rushing into it now, but 2020 was like this is it, and you have been there.
Back then it was
Yeah.
crazy. Everyone was just doing.
So
Everyone was
is
doing
you've been there for well, in tech terms is a long time. Like different industries have different durations. For example, in engineering, before anyone looks at you as a proper engineer, we're talking 7 years experience, 10 years experience. In tech, it's not the same per se. So in terms of experience, you already have that. But one vital question that I think everyone is eager to know is, how did you get started? So what was the journey like? How did you... I know there's the question of, where did the passion come from? Or was it a passion versus money type of thing? Or so how did you get started?
Well, it's a long story, Sha.
It's a long story.
If I have time.
That's why it's a space now.
Yeah. So it was back then in, I think, junior secondary school.
Sorry, goodness, before you continue, so just as you are giving the story, just try and be as detailed as possible. A lot of people, like, when they ask them, okay, tell your story, they always start off like, I was broke, then I made up my mind, I was determined. All those kind of talk, like, I was determined, and I worked hard, and then in 1 year, bam, I was already in tech, and in another year, bam, I was already the manager. Please just give us like the real, not I was determined. I mean, everyone's determined, both bricklayer and everyone else.
So,
but yeah,
I think it was okay. So the first time I kind of like got exposed to let me say anything codes or programming was back then when I was in JSS3. That was like 2014. So what happened was, like, one day in class, one of my friend came in, and he was like, his uncle is a software engineer, and he had this Trojan virus code on a paper, and he was like, he could crash the school's computer system with it. And that was it was crazy. I was like, that can happen. He was like, yeah, sure. So I saw the paper. I copied the codes.
You copied it by hand?
Yeah. It was kind of like a script, basically, like 5 10 lines.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just copied it. I started like researching on it. Like when I get back home after studying my books, I just went to. I was like, okay, viruses. Then from there, I now got exposed to CLI commands and Microsoft, CMD, those CLI commands, like entering directories and all that.
Okay.
So that was kind of like the first exposure I had. And so we kept talking where we kept copying a lot of viruses back then on the internet. We never really tested them. We were afraid to test them. I think the only one I tested was one that could open different files and folders. So that's like my first exposure. But I think the most defining moment, like when I was like, okay, I'm going to actually do this, was next year, 2015 in SS1. So I saw a one of my high school senior. I saw him write something on Notepad. The web browser text changed from black to red, and that was it. That was like that was crazy back then, because I've never seen it before in my life. And if you've had experience writing HTML, that's basically what he did. Just CSS changed that particular text to red. So I was like, then it was like I said, the guy just hacked NASA or something. So I was like, he was like, he kept telling me. I was really like, what, how, and all that. I didn't even know it was possible to do that. And he now showed me HTML, CSS. Then and I started going through the internet to see how I could learn it. Then it now happened that one of my neighbor, who was kind of like, I think he was studying computer at an institute, he had a handout, and at the advanced pages of the handout, it was like introduction to HTML and CSS. So I borrowed it from him. I don't think I returned it back, but I was just going through the material, trying to just learn how to do it. I now learned how to use Notepad. I took a Notepad++, but then it was really, really hard to get information. And it's not as if my parents had money to go online. I mean, which my parents are not like this kind of people that knew the advantages of the internet back then. So most of my I had to okay, who's doing it in Jos? So I was living in I'm living in Jos. I was like, who's doing it in Jos? During like school break, I'm trying to go to different computer institutes. And back then, those guys were like pro in Microsoft Word. They didn't know what HTML, CSS, and all the stuff. So I tried to kept talking with them. Okay, who could link me up and all that. So like, I think at a point back then in 2015, like every computer institute, right, just like knew my face. I was always coming in with one HP laptop with the handout, trying to engage them. Like, okay, can they show me how how this is done and all that. And so when I entered SS3, that's when I now heard about Python language, and then Python, I now installed Python. I found a way to install it on my computer. Then I started learning a lot of Python. I started reading documentation, trying to understand. And to be honest, I don't think I was I would say that when I saw what's happening, I was just kind of like I just kept reading a lot and trying to figure out how the whole things work.
So most of the learning you were doing was through the textbook.
Yes. I mean,
wow.
Text material, some old PDF files. I would just try and copy the codes. I'll try, just try and try to repeat or try to write what I'm seeing on the PDF and all that. Try to make it up. Most of the time it doesn't work. Most of the time when I'm lucky, so I just kept doing that. I kept asking a lot of people, and there wasn't really information back then. When I think I was going through a lot of languages back then, just trying to understand what's happening. But when I finally got a break, was after I graduated from secondary school, there was this hub. There's this hub in Jos called NHub. So they were the only ones doing anything programming, and they had a lot of software developers back then. So I now went to the hub and I started learning. I started asking those guys who were pro back then, and they were able to now kind of show me a path, how to approach it, what exactly to learn. They gave me really good materials, and that's how I started. That's when I now went full into it. I started learning HTML, CSS, Python, JavaScript. For a whole
all this was before uni. That's after secondary school, before uni.
Yes. All this was.
Okay. So when you got to uni, did you now continue with the?
Yeah. So
with the hub.
I had because of this whole the way our admission was after secondary school, you had a year before you enter University of Jos. So I spent the whole year learning every single day, Monday to Saturday. Now I was now obsessed with the whole thing. So for a whole year I was just learning programs. So when I entered school, it was not possible to kind of remove me from that. So I had a lot of problems. To be honest, I was missing classes to be writing.
This was your year one, Abi?
Yes, year one, maths 101. I just left the class, go to the computer lab, and just kept coding, writing code and all that.
How did you now cope with school and learning code?
100 level was quite easy. So
okay.
Yes.
So you just freestyled that one.
I had this weird thing that 1 week to exam, I could actually cram the whole thing and just enter the exam.
Which course did you do in school that you can attempt such a?
Which course?
Because there are some courses you cannot attempt that one with.
Yes, no, so but it was 100 levels, so it was quite easy, and we're doing CBT.
Okay.
Yes, okay. So I could just kind of freestyle the whole thing. I didn't fail any course. When but it didn't work in 200 level. It didn't work. You know,
Cannot work.
No. But so I kept. But my fear back then was that I was going to miss out at the whole tech boom in Nigeria
Yeah.
because of school. And
Okay.
so that was like yes. So I don't know. I just had this kind of like feeling that that somehow I had to be involved with the whole the whole tech industry startup. Like I just knew that it's going to happen. And back then, who didn't understand? Everybody thought I was kind of like throwing my
that you were lazy or you not care.
Yes, like people couldn't get me. I kept saying that that it's going to happen. And 200 level, we went on strike, came back. I think that was before 200 level. And
what year was that? Like 200 level. What year was that?
200 level. I think 200 level was 2019.
2019. Okay.
Yeah. So I finished 200 level. Then we now went on strike. No, I think it was the coronavirus and strike.
Oh yeah.
2019 was coronavirus that now evolved to strike.
Yes. So that was like the break I needed from school. So I was really now like I won't say I was happy about the virus, but I love the fact that I wasn't going to school. And it was like it was like so I now tried to like freelance with some startup. I worked in a startup called Remotely. We're trying to build like a video collaboration software.
Okay, like Google Meet, something like that.
Something like that. But more like Stream.io. I don't know if you've heard.
Oh, okay.
No,
I know.
Google Meet is not Google Meet, but like a video collaborative software. When different editors collaborate in a particular project, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So so I started doing that. So like the whole 2020, I was just working for trying to do different things, trying to like get as much experience as I could.
But by 2020, the strike had ended. So did you now resume?
No,
with school?
It ended 2021.
Okay, yes. It ended 2021. That's true.
Yes.
Ended 2021.
Then by then, as that was where I now got the job at Beat Mama.
Okay.
Yes. And that was so at that moment. That was like that was like basically what I've been waiting for. I just said, okay, let me just take a break from school and just put my whole.
Let me take a break from school.
That's how this acid strike has led me to leave school like this.
So you decided you're not coming back. You made up your mind. Take a break.
Not
it was supposed to be no.
Okay.
No. I don't like that lamb.
Yeah, drop out sounds irresponsible.
Yeah.
But you decided to take a break from school.
Yes, I was like,
okay.
Let me just focus on this because I was basically looking for that kind of experience, working on a real life project, with different users and all that. So, I spent like the whole year. So I didn't go back to school.
Okay.
My parents were no. So I.
That's true. That's another question. Is how would they even take it that you just decide? But then again, you were making money, Abi, right? You were working and get or was it a internship type program?
So what I did was I kind of like how will I put it? So I knew different ways of dealing with my parents. So I had to kind of like soften the pill.
Okay.
So then my family were not really financially stable.
Okay.
Yes. So a lot of things were happening at the family back then. So I was like, I will tell my parents that I don't have transport. I'll stay back and work at Beat Mama and do my work because it was remote jobs. So I just, I told like different.
Okay.
Things. I was like, I'm getting handouts from my colleagues and all that for Then when I got my first salary, definitely you appease them now. So I gave my mom.
Yeah.
So so after doing that, I used the salary to become like smoothing the whole thing. Before I told my mom that
just make everyone comfortable.
Yeah, I told my mom that this school thing that for now I'm not seeing myself going back to school and all that. Then I told my dad.
So goodness, I have a question. Yeah. Like in all of this, I'm basically sensing that you're basically like you're a self-taught kind of engineer.
Yes.
So you didn't like go to any traditional school, you didn't, go to any of this, like say online sessions where they teach you guys how to,
No.
build and code.
So,
and did you have any mentor in that whole process, or you're also like, will I say, you're your own mentor? Get to say.
So at the very beginning, there weren't like a lot of people I could meet at first, and mature. So I had to like figure a lot of things out. So in a way, I kind of like learned how to figure things out myself. So, and that stayed with me for like a long time. So even when I met NHub, I didn't want to sign up for any of their classes back then because I already figured out how to get information. And what the guys at NHub just did was just to show me the path. Like, okay, I talked to them, they're like, okay, just do this, learn this instead. And I'll just say, okay, then I'll just go back to my my decks and just learn it myself. But I don't have any. I have models, people that I admire. That were really
sure.
But I didn't really have like a mentor like that. Yeah.
In all of this, like, I don't know, because a lot of engineers go through. I mean, I'm sure that you're sort of comfortable in the role that you're in right now.
Yes.
But like, there is a lot of setback in terms of career-wise that people actually face. And I don't know, your career actually kicked off pretty early, I guess.
Yes.
But has there been like any like major setbacks that you faced? And how were you able to like navigate around that?
Well, so I think me starting really early back then was kind of like a blessing because I didn't have to worry about trying to feeding and taking care of myself because I had parents who were doing that. But nice. One major issue I had is setbacks was I think first of all getting access to the internet back then, or I didn't really even have like I had. So most of the time, what I do was to get videos from other people and watch. So I didn't really have access to the internet like that. The time I had access to the internet was when I loaded 25 naira MTN night plan. So very popular.
Oh, night plan, yes.
I stayed up all night.
Night
so
plan.
You remember that one?
Plan.
Is you that
No, night plan. When it's done, I'll just give everybody night plan tips. When it's done, I'll give everybody night plan tips so that you know the way. But go on, goodness.
So most of the time, to be honest, back then, I'm just remembering this now. I tried like borrow credit from MCN. Like my parents were not going to give me money to spend on data. Like it wasn't going to happen.
You borrowed credit.
So basically, I had the whole feeding and kind of like housing to taking care of. But but when you're learning something like programming and codes and all that, you need access to the internet, and I had to like borrow. I didn't have money for to do that. Most of the time I would like beg my mom and all that. Like my dad was not really a big fan of the whole computer thing because he wanted me to study medicine and he wanted me to be at a shop. So
which course did you actually enter school for?
Mine was funny. So we already agreed that I was studying medicine. My dad and my parents.
Okay.
And when they jumped,
You said my dad and my parents.
Yeah, we just agreed on something.
Yeah, like Holy Trinity.
Oh, go on.
So when I now got like the jump sleep, I now changed it to computer science, which was like a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't even tell them until I gave them to sign.
So basically, you scammed them.
I did. I've not made up. My dad was furious because it was like a big issue. Yeah. So like that period, that 1 year after graduation, like 2017, like I wasn't even talking to my dad. So I couldn't even meet him to like borrow money for
anything.
Like he didn't even give me money for TP to go to NHub. I used to trek the whole thing. And my mom had issues with her business, so she was mostly at home. But she helped me when she could. So like it was like the most it was like the hardest year in my life, that 2017, because I had to trek. I would live by, because I didn't want the sun to like make me tired when I'm trekking.
Yeah.
I start just like in
Wow.
1 hour
The
stuff like that. So without me eating self, I'll go to the end hub. I just sit down with my slippers, my whole bag. It was big. I had this big HP laptop, backing and all that. So
All those heavy ones that the batteries to give issue.
I would eat till like 5 p.m. and then trek back home. The rest.
Wow.
Everybody thought I was mad back then. Like me now. That's
always the thing.
So,
that's always the thing about people with like vision. This is serious motivation story, bro. Yeah, like this is proper. Like if you become a rapper now, all this thing will be in your bag.
Yeah,
like, I know where papers and all that. But so I have a question for you, goodness. So what is something that you know now that you wish you had known when you just got started? Like back then, you to know, like today, 2022, post $2.1 million beats mama employee. Versus back then, 2017, you no shoe. I mean, what do you say? No shoe, no car, no nothing. It's just the
no 5G, no 5G at the moment.
No 5G. There's one thing, right? It's like knowing the importance of getting having a mentor, someone to you can always go back to and ask for advice. So I didn't have that. I didn't even care about looking at getting someone or that. I was just lonely in my own world,
Yeah.
So it was kind of those lonely back then. It took me 3 years, or more than it took me a long time to hopefully understood what coding was actually, or what I was trying to do. I just kept trying to figure it out on my own. And
put your hand in all the baskets.
Having a mentor, I feel I would have accomplished more self way back then, or probably who knows. I mean, I think I'd be a CTO right now or a co-founder or something. But I didn't really have anyone to talk to, and I was even looking for, and I just felt like nobody would get me or all that. Maybe I was right, but I think that's one thing I would do differently.
I mean, so right now, I think you're spot on the idea of having mentors.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, there are mentors that are far away from you that you just admire, and you just sort of watch them closely in their career, and it just inspires you to be the better version of yourself. And there are also mentors that you can actually reach out to. But the thing that most people actually forget is that there are peer mentors, like people in your own circle that would actually get what you're doing.
Yeah.
And having a connection with them is sometimes, will I say, undervalued.
Yeah.
Like some people are actually looking out for people that, I don't know, what's the biggest startup in Nigeria right now? I don't know, whether it's Jumia or something. So Flutterwave or something.
Flutterwave, Jumia.
And you're looking for maybe the top engineer there, where they're you can actually reach out to a friend that might understand what you're going through and be able to provide some guidance.
I think because when I entered university, that was something I find because I now applied computer science, so able to now find some few people that were writing codes, like for example Mega. So it was kind of so forth. So so that kind of inspired to get better and all that, because he too had that kind of mindset and all that. So
I have two questions. Before we've not even touched on the investing part, but I have two questions on the tech aspect. Yeah. The first question I have is there blood money in tech? Is this partiality?
He said it's blood money.
This body by way shouting. Is there is the money real? Do you understand? Because some people might be hearing it and seeing it on TechCrunch tickets. Want to know whether it's real. And the follow-up question is the money easy? Right. So if someone is looking at this money now and saying, okay, that money is real, is it possible for me to actually get in? Do you get how easy it is? How easy can it be for the average person to actually get into tech? Right? Because I think those are the top two questions in my head.
To modify Jam's question to add my own question inside. The question I have, the question inside the question is that how easy it is for someone to be making. It's one thing to get into tech. Anybody can get it. So once you have textbook. You can go on YouTube and start touching around some playlists. But how easy is it to get like into the main? By the main, I mean I'm talking about like $40 per month in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You're living here, you're earning. That one is the main. And I think that's what a lot of people are interested in. I mean, it's one thing for you to be playing around with HTML. It's another thing for you to be in the main.
Yeah.
Where as everybody's shouting that dollar is going up, you just be dancing. And some guys right now, they're just dancing.
Yeah. I mean,
so yeah, that's my question inside the question.
Yeah, for the blood money part, yes, there's blood money. Jesus. I'm like,
are you wait. You're serious? Like you're saying it as it is.
So yeah.
Wow.
Guys are really getting paid in this industry, like a whole lot. Even here in Nigeria.
Hey, when not give me updates. Hey.
One thing, just to add to what Goodness is saying, I always say this thing that the reason why a lot of this stuff is loud is because we have social media.
Yeah.
Back then, the old girls were getting blood money too, but nobody knew because there was no. I mean, back then they would take care of your whole life. So as you are working for them, they take care of your whole life. So it's just social media has really now brought the spotlight on tech and blood money. Blood money is not new. The main thing is that you are moving where the money is going. So yeah. Goodness, continue. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. Like I've seen guys like even someone said I just entered this space. I know how much it makes him that. It's crazy. I really young. so like I mean, but getting into tech too, it's very easy. It's quite easy now to get into tech. I mean, there's a lot of organizations that that are up right now trying to get as much people into programming. So it's quite easier than back then when I started. I mean, now I think we even have like a university right now in Nigeria.
They'll give you
university.
I mean, it's crazy. So
do you know I saw a place even in Yaba, like the whole building is for teaching people how to code.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Like the whole building.
Yeah, I mean,
dedicated to
Meanwhile, the one I've noticed though is like everybody's WhatsApp status now is like, come and learn UI UX 50k.
Yeah.
Come and learn UI UX 50k, 100k, 120k.
Yeah. But the downside though is that the goalpost now keeps shifting. So back then you could like learn just HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, and you could even get like a freelance gig. But now I think you can get a gig we don't know like React.js or some frameworks now. So that keeps shifting. Like like people like more jobs need like specialized skills. People that that have that reach a certain level basically. So why a lot of people now coming to tech? It's now really hard to actually get a job because most guys now looking for people that actually really skilled in the back then, I mean, there's nobody. So even someone that just knows HTML was like a king in certain area.
They will take you just because you know that small thing.
Or just uses WordPress and all that. But now, as more companies are like getting exposed to like the whole tech ecosystem, the requirement just keeps getting harder.
In summary, what you're saying is that there is blood money in tech. That's number one. But they will use your blood, Sha. They will squeeze you.
Oh my God.
My own thought towards that is that everything in life is hard work. So like choose your hard work. Even if you want to be a thief. I'm not supporting, Kebu doesn't support thieves. We don't support fraudsters, whatever. But even if you want to be a thief, it's hard work. You can't plan a heist thing like say you won't buy bread. You need to plan it. So everything is hard work. So choose your hard work. So
I mean, everybody wants to be soft like Tony, but man,
to
get soft like Tony,
get to that level it's just really painful. Like you are like I think I've spent like 20 hours writing codes just
20 hours.
22. Yeah, like real. I'm not making it up. Like it's so like you're just trying to like get something done, and like it's a lot of hard work to reach that certain level. That's what we have to know.
So there's blood money, but like Jam said, to get into it, you go sweat. I mean,
you have to work.
I mean, let's get into the investing part and like how you're looking at building wealth generally. So I don't know whether you can explain to us when you started thinking of, or what got you interested in Keble in the first place? Because I think you just, I don't know how many investment options that you're sort of into, but what got you interested in Keble, and how has that journey been like? And what's your thinking process generally?
I think I have to start like from the very beginning.
Before you continue, I have a pre-question to Jam's question, because I know investing comes. I have all these my terms. So I know investing comes when there's money. A broke man really does not have enough spare money to invest. Do you get what I'm saying? So what was the major difference in like your attitude towards money when you went from doing night plan? I understand night plan because I've done night plan. So doing night plan to like where you are now. This is post 20. This is 2 years into Web3. Bit Mama is doing well. I mean, obviously you are not the same person financially as you were when you were trekking under the sun and all that. So like, what was the biggest shift in your mentality for money, and how did you handle that? Was it a function of when the money came, you didn't even know how to control yourself? Because that's always the problem, that people that were not earning so much before, when they get money, it's just like, wow, everything that was entering my eye, let me go and buy. So what was that shift like?
So like, first of all, right, when you're broke, right, that whole thing doesn't even cross your mind. Like, you investing, I don't think I even knew the word investment.
You didn't know the word.
To be honest, like, there's no point.
You said you didn't know the word.
I don't think it existed. So I think, let me see. So I think my investment journey started with cryptocurrency, but I didn't know it was called investing back then. That was the funny thing.
Okay.
I thought it was like a way of like just buying coins. 2 weeks, summer, I get like
is this summer?
ROI. Like, it was crazy back, it was just crazy back then. So
back then
I was working in a crypto company, so and I started learning how to use Binance. So when I get paid in USDT, I put some in Binance. And I had like some crypto friends who were also amateur, but they were good too. Just telling me to buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, Jesus. I mean, like, so I think that's like my first, but I didn't know it was called. I didn't know that it was called investing. Actually, I just thought that it was like a get-rich scheme, something. When like my eyes kind of like cleared was when it was during the height of DeFi, swaps and all that. So I put like, I don't know if Jam can remember. I put like pancake swap.
Pancake swaps.
How much? In terms of percentage, what was your loss? Because the way you are laughing, it sounds like a loss.
Wait.
I don't think it was a gain. You'd be probably dancing. So give us the percentage. I'm not saying tell us the amount. Just give us it. Was it 80% loss? Was it 70, 60?
No, it was. I think. I got like 2x initially. I sent Jam like
2x.
So then I left it. The next day, Jesus. The next day.
Wait. You mean 24 hours later? I don't understand.
24.
You mean you sent?
It was not long. It wasn't long.
You sent a screenshot of 2x, and in less than 3 days, everything had crashed.
Everything had gone down. Like, I was like, wow. Like, so. I mean, then I now knew that something was wrong there, but like, what was I doing? I mean, So, and funny enough, I'd known Jam like the day before that, I think so. But I'd also like collaborated on their project, but I didn't really understand what was happening. So just like writing, I was just like, write.
It was just like a freelance.
Yeah.
Let me just do this.
Yeah, but it was called My Invest. I didn't know what they were trying to do. I just knew I was working with them, tokens. Node.js, like I was just writing codes basically. So I sat down there, I think I kind of like, I now asked Jam some questions, Then and I found what I've been trying to do was I've been trying to invest. I think I now got like a book by Peter Lynch. I can't remember the name of the book. That's why I now kind of like understood the fundamentals. Like, this whole thing has fundamentals. You understand? Like, I now learned what investing was. How to manage my funds, learning fundamental of a business before investing, thinking long term, not short term. And I was just really ashamed of myself because, man, because I've made a lot of blunders. So that's why I started talking to Jam more, about how to get my finances, on track. And that's how I now started. And I think we now started with like stock investing. So Jam helped me select. He helped me select like some stock. Then I now kind of like invested part of my salary in it. I was using Trove Invest. And I think that's like how my investment journey started properly. I started watching videos, Warren Buffett videos. I just started reading a lot about investing, and I that kind of became with a stock investing too. I was kind of I know sometimes when you read some motivational books about taking risk, it just blinds your thinking. Yeah, you have to take certain risk to get rich. Some very stupid philosophy and ideology.
I blame betting. I blame betting. Bet Naija. That's their whole philosophy.
I know we Gen Z, we like hearing all this rubbish.
Yes.
So I also I was like, okay, I was stock invest. I was starting to stock, started something and stock was volatile. So as I put a lot of stock there, I think at a point, during the height of Elon Musk's craze, Biden, Trump, the stock market was just being manipulated anyhow. I now looked inwards. I just knew that I love stability. This whole
you can't deal with one day this is 2x, another day is a minus something.
Exactly. Yeah, I have a job as a programmer and coder. So I couldn't really devote that time to do those due diligence that I needed to pick so I was like, I don't think I can do any of this volatile stuff, this stock, crypto, then that's why I now took a step back and now try to understand, okay, what's actually MyInvest doing? They still called MyInvest back then. And that's why I started reading about real estate. I started to question about real estate. Thank God, Jam, he's easy to talk to Jam. He always replies. And I started reading on real estate. And I found out that they are really, really very, very stable. Very, very stable. So, So my first real estate investment was on MyInvest. I now invested which now, sorry, you can't understand. Cable was MyInvest back then. So
that was the first name. That was our first name before we rebranded.
Yes, so my first real estate investment was 15,000 naira.
15K.
Crazy, I mean, back then, but I thought it was a huge amount. But now that I know better, that was really that was nuts. So I didn't even really understood, that 15,000. I was like, wow, it's still a lot. Till I now went to start pricing lands and houses, asking for price.
Then you realize that
wow, this is what MyInvest are trying to do. I that Eureka moment. I was like, wow, it's I was like, how's that people don't know about this? Then I started investing, putting, and I started looking for more of their listings. I started putting more money into it. So that was like my early that's how I started
experience
with MyInvest. Yeah, before this year, I was able to kind of get I was able to through Cable now. I was now able to get a plot of land in Lagos. So yeah.
The funny thing that you just mentioned, there's so many things to unpack for a lot of people. I think the first thing is just knowing yourself. I don't know, Toby, remember the last time we did a campaign about people actually taking tests and understanding their investment your risk appetite, and just knowing, because it's fine to invest in crypto, it's not a bad thing. You just have to be sure of what you're investing in, which he mentioned is understanding the fundamentals and knowing exactly what you're investing in and understanding that there is a risk embedded in it. So if you're putting your rent inside it, just be sure. Just be sure.
The funny thing is that Nigerians
not pay rent that year.
The funny thing is that Nigerians, okay, I'm saying Nigerian, I'm a Nigerian living in Nigeria, so this isn't like some one boy in London bashing people back home. So the funny thing is that Nigerians act as if they are actually aggressive investors. But the thing is that most Nigerians don't have disposable income. Most people don't have disposable income. So most aggressive investors invest with the mindset that if I put this money today and it burns, last, I will take ice cream, I will watch one movie, and tomorrow I will shake it off. When you're putting your rent inside the investment, there's no amount of ice cream you want to drink. You will weep and you will cry. I'm not saying that, I'm just being real. Most Nigerians don't have that disposable income, so they just form aggressive. Oh, it's 50%. You hear 200. We know what we did a whole episode on like Ponzi schemes and like all this 100% in 2 weeks. So please just go and check it out on our platforms. I don't want to rehash everything, but that's just in Nigeria. You need to understand yourself and your situation. So stability.
Just like knowing yourself and knowing that okay, I'm a conservative investor, or I'm a moderate investor, I'm an aggressive person. Just lets you even you're much more clearer in the decisions you're making, right? So and I think we have a test. I don't know, Toby, you can maybe share the Telegram group or something and just let them join in. But that's the general idea is that just know thyself. I think early on I knew the kind of risks like involved in the crypto space before before the whole crash 2021. I already made like 500% in my money and sold everything and just packed my load. I said I'm not doing crypto again with you people. You get? But like it's just there's some money that I still have there that have gone down, that is coming up now. But like you don't wake up in the morning thinking about that money. And that's like how aggressive investors think. You get? If you're investing, you're not thinking that this money, that let it be rising, waiting for it to rise like bread. You get? Be praying into it every day and night. It's not going to work. So having like a stable mind, or knowing who you are and knowing that okay, maybe I need some stable income or I need some stable investment that will just keep me sane, right? It's really important. I think that's then just understanding fundamentals. So if once you know yourself, I know that okay, I can YOLO my money. And maybe I'm not going to worry about rent. I'm not going to worry about feeding at my parents' house. Nobody will disturb me. There's also this aspect of, okay, let me test out these things and be as aggressive as possible, right? You're free, you're at liberty to do that. That's great, and it allows you to just, okay, what am I investing in? What are the fundamentals behind this? If I'm investing in the stock market, most times I always say that, like, if you're investing in the stock market, just close your eye for like 3 years. Just don't bother. Some people like to put money in and remember that it can happen next year, it can happen in 6 months. It's not possible. Sorry. Just close your eyes and say 3 years, bam, or 2 years, bam, and just be sure that that's the kind of investment that you're making. But it's really like interesting to see that you even went ahead to sort of look out for like books that allow you to just learn about these things and be able to like get better in understanding the investment. And it's even funny that you are investing without knowing that you're investing. A lot of people actually do that. Like they just put in money before, like you just they don't know he's investing, and which is very weird. They understand that they're putting money to get something back, but they don't even classify it as investing. They don't even like that term doesn't really cross their mind most times. It's just like, I put my money here, it's getting me back in the next 2 months, and I'm fine with it. But yeah, I think those are like the major things I could just unpack from what you just said now. Toby, I don't know whether you have anything like to contribute to that.
Just based on the whole aggressive investing thing, about 2 days ago, I got very curious that what happens because there's a lot of, every single day, I repeat, every single day, there is funding news going out. I'm talking like today, I'm combining all the deals I read about today. It's about $600 million has gone. I mean, probably the deals where they happened before, but today they were officially announced on like the company's website and all that. About 600 million, different companies in the world. And I got curious, like, why is it that VCs are pumping all this money into like companies? So I was like, okay, what happens when the company doesn't work out? All these 600 million, does it mean 600 million goes in the air? So I searched everywhere, searched all the kidney. And at the end of the day, the conclusion was that if the company doesn't work out as a VC, your money has burnt. And in one forum like that, one guy, because someone asked it on the forum that someone just invested in my company. Someone just invested in my company, and what's going to happen if I'm not able to, like, if the company fails? So someone now replied that it's two ways. Either this your company can actually make 2,000 times, and if you make 2,000 times, it's not like the investor will come and say, oh, why did you make so much? They will take back part of what you made. So the point is this, all the stories from one thing. As an aggressive VC and all those investing in companies are aggressive, meaning that one day you can wake up and all your money be gone. And at the same time, so just based on what Jam was saying, know thyself is a very key. It's very key. Know yourself. Know the way your life is set up. For example, if you are planning on leaving the country, you should be putting your money into things that are stable. You should not be putting your tuition money inside something that can burn tomorrow. Because if that goes, that means you are postponing your Japa plans for like 3 years. So you need to find something that's stable. You just need to understand how your life is set up and like move according to that. And if you have money to burn or money that you know that you can lose, then of course you can do the whole aggressive investing. One thing about Kebu is that we are very focused on stability. Recently, we just paid out the investors that invested last 10 months ago. So the investors that invested 10 months ago, they are getting paid. Yeah, they just got paid out. They are getting paid out recently. And the key thing for what we do at Kebu is understanding that we are providing stable investments. If we say that it's going to be 20%, it's going to be 20%. You can take it to the bank and bring it back. That is 20%. And another thing that we also do and we also ensure is to make sure that investing is, you can invest with as low as possible. Goodness was talking about investing with as little as 15K. And when he went into the real market, real estate cannot be, you cannot, maybe the only thing you can buy for 15K, maybe some bags of cement. And you really can't do anything with bags of cement. You can't build a house with bags of cement. But what we have been able to do is that we are going to break down that opportunity to invest, because real estate always goes up, at least in this part of the country. That's Lagos. I'm speaking from Lagos State, and that's where most of our investment have been so far. Is that real estate has always consistently gone up. Even now, most people living and not living in like a house they own or their family home, they're probably going to get a letter ahead of next year that see the country is tied to, everything is tied to, rent is going up, kidney is going up, prices of land and everything is going up. So that's just how it is. And what we do is that we provide, and not only that, even currently we have offerings that are live in other countries, allowing you to take advantage of not just Naira investments, but also dollar investments. So if previously you're only limited to, real estate is rising in Lagos, cool. But now you're now getting access to real estate is rising in London. That's one. And number two, dollar is rising in Nigeria. Everyone knows that. In fact, every platform that does dollar savings now, they'll start sending you a message that dollar is going up, come and convert your money. I just go on this morning. Dollar is going up, come and convert your money to dollar. So dollar has been consistently good. By this time last year, I'm not sure if it was 360. Correct me, Jam, goodness, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was around 360 or 400, Abi.
Yeah, like I think we're still arguing whether it will get to 500 at that point.
This other platform was just announcing that if you want to deposit dollar, it's 708 naira. That's almost 40-something% increase. So you're getting advantage of investing both in dollar and also capital appreciation on the real estate property. So we're going to share a link. We're going to share a link also on our Twitter page for you to go to the website, check out our investments, and check out our investments and also sign up. Then there's also a tweet on the space right now to join our community. We do things like this on the community. And if you guys notice, we don't just focus on, real estate. We talk about other things, because at the end of the day, the main thing is that your money should be growing. The company is focused purely on real estate, but a branch of the company, that is the tribe, is focused on, as much as we want people to invest in us, how can we also help people? Let us help people to become the best versions of themselves financially. Because really, money controls a lot of things. Money controls a lot of things, and if you have ever experienced not having money, then you understand. I mean, goodness can tell you how sweet coding is, probably from his MacBook than before from his broken HP and the heavy bag and all that. So, I want to give space to those who have anyone that has question either for the company that's Kevo, for me or Jam, or for our guest today, Goodness from Beats Mama. So
Yeah,
does
I just
anyone
wanted
have
to
any
point
questions?
out,
Okay.
just to point out that this is going to be recorded and this is going to be on our podcast. So everything is, you can listen to it later on. You can also ask questions as much as possible. We have a community. I think Toby has already mentioned that he has shared the link. Ask as many questions as possible. Like we are really like excited to hear about what you guys are going to say, what you guys kind of questions that you guys are asking as well. I'm happy to answer them. So if you have questions now, just let us know and we can bump you up. First of all, you can say your name and then ask your questions.
So just request to speak if you have any question. On the back end there, I can just invite you, then you just say your question. So you just give that time for that before we sign out from this space. So does anyone have a question? Indicate, request. We did for you. We did for you. We did for you. We did for you.
While we're waiting, I want to even touch on this. In terms of like, how will I put this now? In terms of like technology and how it has grown so far, and how that industry is growing, what do you think is best for people right now? Do you think because you went through the self-taught format, whereby you're teaching yourself and you're learning on the go, compared to going to all of this, like in quote, Russian universities? If you wanted to like advise someone on what paths to take, how would you go about it? Because even our co-founders here, they're all self-taught. They all do their courses by themselves. Most of them didn't go to any like conventional school or community to learn how to program or to learn product management. So it's just interesting. Like if someone wanted to like come to you now and say, I want to get into this, should I just go on YouTube or should I just pay my 50K or 100K and start learning it?
Well, both sides have their advantages and disadvantages, but there's this certain beauty and mastery, or should I say ownership, you gain when you're discovering a certain skill by yourself. Like it kind of becomes your own in a way. You're not learning how from someone's point of view. You're just kind of like you just try to make sense of the whole thing, and before you just develop your own unique approach to it. So I mean, I would like, okay, what for me, I'll advise the person, okay, it depends on his personality, but for me, I will always go towards the learn it by yourself. But it's not sorry, it's not everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, back now.
Yeah.
So it's not everyone that can do that. So then I would advise them, okay, you can go pay. Well, I'll prefer that if you can, this is a skill that can be learned for free. I mean, if you can learn it for free, the returns, the rewards are higher than paying a certain amount, and so I mean, if you can do it yourself, I mean, it's okay. There are a lot of ways, a lot of blog posts, articles, YouTube series that can organize your thoughts now when learning programming. So self-taught is better.
Yeah, just to follow on that, because I know that like right now there are so many ideas coming up in people's heads. So people are thinking of startups. I don't know why they're thinking of startups, but people are thinking of startups. People are thinking of ideas. People are thinking of solutions. And obviously, someone is going to look at you now and be like, I need a CTO. I need someone that can. We're going to build the future together. What's the best way to approach someone like you now? So I want to convince you to join my startup and let us build something together. Right? How would that work? Because a lot of people find it difficult to find Yeah, or even where to find yourself. How will you even find? It's because you're in this space now. Someone might be listening and say, okay, or someone might be listening to the podcast and say, okay, let me try and reach out to goodness. But like, how do we find technical guys like you, and how do we even convince you guys that okay, my idea is what leaving Changera for?
Yeah. I mean, it's way easier to convince a broke tech bro. I mean, if you guys really have cash, like,
Wow.
honestly, no, let's be real. Let's be for real. Let's say if you have met me like 2020, you definitely you would have like you would like it would have been very possible. But now when I mean, there's a certain thing that when you get exposed to money and cash, you have a lot of you discover new responsibilities. You understand? And some people are not willing to take that certain risk to like leave their secure jobs, come out to join you on the startup. Only if they are maybe getting paid also as they are as they are joining you in that startup. So that's the only way I feel that it can be possible. But I mean, there's some people that the whole idea of like building something from scratch really interests them. And if you can really sell the idea to them, and be honest upfront, because that's one issue again we have with this whole startup is that the so-called CEO or business guys are not just always honest with the developers, and most of the time because they can't get someone good, they'll look for like people that are upcoming, people that developers that are not really skilled like that, and kind of like tell them, okay, work on this, and they're not honest with them upfront. And they'll just end up, wasting their time, and it really gets messy. Like from experience, though, it really gets messy. But I think one thing is that okay, just be honest from the very beginning. Tell the developer, okay, we can't pay you, or if you can pay him, fine. How much equity are you willing to give him? Or how long does he have to stay with you before you get vested? Like. Just be like, I feel like a lot of people are like, it's very hard to get to the city, but it's just like sometimes they're not really honest at the very beginning, and you can really like you can solve the problem by being honest at the very very beginning. Like okay, this is where we are right now. You understand? This is that. Like it's very hard to talk about, but money discussions are very uncomfortable. But it's important to have it at the very beginning.
Awesome. I think you're absolutely right. Like, I mean, for me, I think.
Well, sometimes because you feel that
when we started Kebo, yeah, I think when we started Kebo, we were just friends. So the CTO was like, we were just guys. So it was easier to convince them. If you wanted to meet even Valentine, who is our CTO now, and convince him about your new venture, he'll be tired of you. So I don't even want to hear what you want to say. I don't want to hear. But I also noticed that, like, because I have another, like, even convincing, you have to really be certain about it to convince them. And obviously, you might not be able to tell them to leave their job. So they'll obviously be doing part-time until you raise, like, maybe your pre-seed, you get, or your angel check of $50K, $100K before they notice that, okay, this is we make, you get. And be able to, even at that, some people will say that you don't even leave your job until you raise your seed. Very annoying people.
And but there's this whole startup ginger at the beginning that we lose touch of reality. Like at the very beginning, I don't know, like most people that you have read like a lot of books and you're like,
you have to lose touch of reality.
You have watched one picture till video, you're like, leave your job, do this. Be fully I beg.
Listen, I beg.
This is Nigeria. like so that would so I think that what happened. Well, that's what happens now where we have tech people still working on their full-time job, and on the side when they have time they're also committed to the startup and try to grow till the startup raises a particular amount of money, then they can now leave that particular job and work on it full time.
That makes sense. I don't know if anyone, Toby, is there anyone that's asked a question?
No request. So I think at this junction, he can wrap it up. I hope everyone was able to learn one or two things from our vibes with goodness today. And special thanks to goodness for joining on this call. He's a busy man, especially when company just raise money. It's always very hard to get a hold. But thank you for making our time for Kevu. We appreciate
thanks
you
for having me.
as a tech bro, as an investor proper. So thank you very much, and thank you everyone for joining in. So there's a tweet for the community. Our community, we post weekly. We have quizzes. There's a whole lot of things to learn, whole lot of things to improve your financial life. So the link is there. So just click on it and it's on Telegram. Join in and then vibe with the rest of the crew. Then also our company, Kevu, we're also going to post let me see if the link is up yet. The link is not up, but I'll post it soon. So you can just go to www.kevu.co and you can sign up and then check out our available offerings or our past offerings and just become an investor with Kevu today. It's cheap. Our list offering is $10 currently. It's cheap, it's stable, and it's convenient. Everything can be processed on your dashboard without you checking in every day and all that. So thank you everyone for joining in. Enjoy the rest of your day and watch out for more from Kebu as we always bring you more and more and more. Thank you, Jam, for co-hosting with me today.
Thank you, goodness.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Peace out.